some ambiance. You can't even tell. I'm back. Okay, so I filmed like 7 videos after the last one that I posted, but I didn't post any of them or edit any of them. You'll get them eventually. But I am filming this video today because I want to talk about it. So this is kind of just the intro because I have a meeting to go to in about 30 minutes, but I needed to, while my brain was working, thinking about this, wanted to sit down and talk about it. I'm not sitting in my usual chair over there because I wanted to sit at my desk here. So I don't know if you guys have seen this corner of my room, but this is the desk corner. I think you have. I think some of my May videos had it in the background or whatever. So I just watched a show called Behind Her Eyes. I'm not watching as much TV lately because I'm trying to read a lot more this year than I usually have in the past. But anything that's a limited series is like so great because you can sit down and watch like 6, 7, 8, 9 episodes over a couple of days or a few days or a week or something and be good. So this show came out on Netflix. Okay, it just came out on February 17th. So it's March 2nd right now. So it recently came out. But my camera's about to die. 1 second. Okay, hey, sorry. I'm stupid for not putting in a new battery before I started filming. But, okay, so this show is not, this show, I was like 2 episodes in and hadn't noticed, 2 or 3 episodes in, okay? Hadn't noticed on the credits it said based on the book by, until like 2 or 3 episodes in, and I was like, and I'm not necessarily a person who likes to watch or read the text that the show or movie is based on first, but I do enjoy doing that because I don't know, like if there's twists and stuff, I like the twist to unfold in the book more than the show first. I like watching both of them, but like I like reading it because there's so many more details to the twist. So when the twist finally happens, it's like, oh my gosh. So I was like, well, I already started, so I'm gonna finish. I'll probably read the book in like 6 or 7 months because I enjoyed the show. This is the point in the video where I'm gonna say, if you haven't watched the show or you haven't read the book, click off. I do not want to spoil this for anyone because you don't want to be spoiled, okay? I actually think I liked the build-up in the show and this and that, and we'll get into that later. But I think the final twist, if it gets spoiled, I really don't know like how enjoyable it will be. I think it would still be enjoyable. But anyway, so if you don't want to be spoiled, and I recommend not wanting to be spoiled, click off now. But come back and watch this video after you've watched the show or read the book. Okay, so now that I'm not in danger of spoiling anything for anyone, we're gonna get right into it. And the first thing I need to talk about is the end. So I don't know if y'all are just smarter than me or whatever, but I did not figure out what was going to happen at the end until the last episode. I didn't see that coming. I think partially I didn't see it coming because I was not looking at this show as being supernatural. I didn't think there were going to be supernatural elements. I didn't expect that until you really started getting into like the oh, this is more than lucid dreaming. Oh, this is like they're able to travel places with their subconscious. So I wasn't expecting that. So when I found out, okay, like this is the show, it's like, okay, so I'm gonna start thinking in that sort of like space. So all that to say, I still didn't figure out what was gonna happen until like the last episode. And more specifically, things didn't really click until, okay, this is your last chance. Get off if you don't want a spoiler. Love ya. Okay, so it didn't really click with me what was gonna happen until you saw Louise's subconscious dream color and Adele's dream color coming out of their heads. And I was like, that is not the color that they showed for Adele, I don't think. But I was too distracted by what was happening because I was like, what? There's no way this is gonna work. She's gonna switch their bodies. There's no way that's gonna work. Or she is gonna switch the bodies. It's gonna be a Freaky Friday moment, but everything's gonna end up okay. Louise is gonna get out in Adele's body. They're gonna switch back and they're all just gonna, no. So all of that was happening. And so I was like distracted by what was happening I was like not focusing too much on the color of the dream things. But then, like when their bodies switched and she like went up, Louise went up, Adele went up in Louise's body to check on Louise, who was in Adele's body. I was like, wait, okay, something is up, because it was at the same time, they're telling the story of like Rob telling Adele, like, I wonder if we could switch bodies. So that's when you're like, wait, is that Adele? Is that actually Adele? What are we about to find out? But you're also too distracted by Louise, who is stuck in a body that's not hers. And you're like, Louise, why didn't you just stay home? Louise, why didn't you just stay home? Anyway, then you're like, oh my gosh, wait. Rob was a drug user. Adele, that we know of, was not a drug user or a heroin user. But so then, like, whatever, all this happens. I just watched this, but I can't remember, like, all of the details of, like, the end and, like, the sequence that it, like, told everything. But then when we get to the end part, or close to the end, where it snaps back to not Mark, I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Mark, Rob, and then we're like, okay, so that's been Rob the whole time. Makes sense now. That's why Adele hasn't been the same person as she was when they got married, because Rob literally killed her. Listen, y'all might have known what was coming, but I didn't. It was only that, like, last half an hour where I was like, wait. So, I feel terrible for Adam, Louise's child. And I just really needed to come on here and talk about the ending for a second. Anyway, I haven't thought through and processed it enough entirely to really understand maybe like why Adele was always wearing white. Adele. See, the only Adele we actually knew was the Adele in the flashbacks, in Rob's flashbacks. Never the real Adele. We didn't really know her. So sad, man. Anyway, so let's jump into some more about all of this. But before we do, I'm gonna collect my thoughts, but I just finished it yesterday, I think, last night. And so I wanted to just talk about that some, and how I just didn't see the end coming. And I'm so sad. See, I'm sad that because I want to read the book, but I know like what's gonna happen in the end. So, and that's not just a small thing that I would forget. You know, some small things you forget, but you know, can't change the past. Anyway, so this is either going to be the end of the video, or I'm going to collect some more thoughts and write them all down. And sorry, I thought I was getting a phone call and I was like, I'm going to write all my thoughts down and kind of talk through. This is kind of just like a commentary, not really an analysis. But if you like videos like this, where we're just about whatever show, whatever book, whatever movie, then stick around. Stick around, because we're gonna be hanging out in this genre of things for a little bit. Books, movies, TV. All right. Goodbye. If this is in the video, if this isn't the end of the video, I'm probably just gonna cut this part out because I won't need to be telling you goodbye. Okay. Well, hi there. If you're wondering if I'm wearing a different outfit, yes, I am. Because I am now filming the rest of this video that I already started about 2 weeks later, because I wanted to actually write some thoughts down and not just spew out the reaction. This is not necessarily a complete analysis. Oh, here comes my dog. Do you hear him? Hello. So this isn't a complete analysis or anything, but I do have some thoughts on Behind Her Eyes, more than just a reaction that I wanted to share. So now that we're done with the reaction part of it, where I'm being really dramatic, we're gonna get into an actual, more thoughtful, in a way, talk through of it. If I look over here, it's because I have my computer, obviously you can literally see it in the shot, with all of my thoughts, because I don't want to just ramble on, okay? So let's get into it. My name is Abby. I hope you stick around. Like this video if you enjoy it, subscribe if you enjoy it, follow me on Instagram at AbbyKCreative and at Abby's Random Grams. But let's go. So Netflix's Behind Her Eyes is based on the 2018 novel of the same title by Sarah Pinborough. Behind Her Eyes is a psychological thriller that follows the lives of two women, Louise and Adele, whose worlds both intertwine by a mutual relationship, David. David is Louise's new boss at the psychiatric practice she is a secretary for, and David is Adele's husband. For me, this was one of those thrillers that is enjoyable to watch and full of twists and slow burn unraveling of secrets and mystery. But what I found to be most engaging and sets this thriller apart from other thrillers that I've consumed recently, either TV or books was the implementation of dreams, subconscious, lucid dreaming, and even something more sinister and interesting that is later revealed, which is the ability to travel outside of one's body while lucid dreaming in the show called Astral Projection. I won't go into the entire premise of the show or the book because, again, I'm assuming you've already seen it if you're watching it to this point. So, cool. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that I love British crime, mystery, and detective dramas. I might be making a video soon about why I consider them my security blanket shows, and this one was no different. Now, I'm not saying if it was a different setting, such as France, Australia, United States, South Korea, etc., that I wouldn't be interested. But if there's a psychological thriller and it's set in the UK, you can count on me being into it immediately. Now, what makes or breaks a thriller for me is not always the twist that comes towards the end, but that's obviously a huge part of it. But what makes this show stand out to me was specifically the twist at the end. It would have made a good show if the twist turned out to be something else or perhaps something more predictable, but having two twists, like Adele luring Louise into her burning home to switch bodies with her, and then us figuring out or learning after that that Adele had actually been dead for 10 years and that it was actually Rob in her, Adele, and then Louisa's body. Now that was the twist I could definitely hang with. That was different. I was not expecting it at all until towards the end. That made this show something different than other twists and thrillers that I've consumed recently. Like I just said, I think that is what absolutely made the show for me. Previous to the big twist was the lucid dreaming and the leaving your body and going to places you had been before. That in itself was an outstanding and extremely interesting idea to me, considering I'm very interested in how the human brain, especially the subconscious, works, especially at night when we're dreaming. Side note, I hate dreaming. I hate nightmares, obviously, but I don't necessarily like good dreams either. If I wake up and remember that I had dreams, I have a feeling like I didn't sleep well, even if physiologically I did. That's a complete side tangent though, and I won't get into it, but I don't like dreaming. Even though dreams are very interesting to me, and the subconscious development of dreams are very interesting to me. Back to Behind Her Eyes. When I was watching the show, I noticed the colors of the subconsciouses of Adele and Rob for the first time when they did the leaving their bodies astral projection thing for the first time, but I didn't take that much notice to it. So by the end of the show, when we were seeing more and more of Adele's subconscious thing, I wasn't really registering the fact that it wasn't the same color as we originally saw. It wasn't until the last episode when the storytelling was split by the flashback when Rob was explaining an idea that he had come across about switching bodies, and then to the present time when Adele was setting the house on fire, that I wondered if something even more twisted was going on than just Adele switching her and Louisa's bodies. That's when I started wondering, wait a second. Why is Rob like telling this story, I'd love to know in the comments when you caught the twist. Was it before everything was revealed, while it was being revealed, or after? No, I guess that's while it's being revealed. All in all, I was very impressed by this thriller. At some point I was frustrated by Anne rooting for different characters, which to me makes a good show because generally speaking, like in life, we're not always rooting for the same people and people are complicated. I'm complicated, my friends are complicated, my family's complicated, people I watch on the internet are complicated, actors and actresses are complicated. Everybody's complicated, everybody has their good things and their bad things. So I like when a show doesn't just hone in on one person who's like supposed to be the villain and doesn't give them any like redeeming qualities or anything. In the end, like most viewers, I think I felt the worst for Adam, Louisa's young son, who clearly knows something is up with his mom. Of course, he doesn't know the extent to what is wrong and what is different about his mom, because one wouldn't necessarily have the capacity to guess that his mother was actually dead and a man he never knew really had taken over her body. I also do feel bad for David. He never married the woman he thought he was marrying because Rob had switched bodies with her and killed her. And so, of course, I also feel bad for Louise and Adele, the actual victims of the killing of Rob, by Rob. I think what also made this thriller different than a lot of thrillers I've watched or read recently is that it doesn't end good. Many thrillers that have consumed in the past few months include tragedy and heartbreak and twists and trials, but for the most part things seem to end okay. They wrap up, not perfect, but they end all right. But not with Behind Her Eyes. Oh no, in my opinion, it actually ends more heartbreaking and tragically than I would have imagined going into the show. I also enjoyed the red herrings, such as thinking there was more mystery to the fire that Adele's parents died in besides what was actually going on and what was told to us in the show. Another one being David's watch being at the bottom of the well, that a lot of the show focuses Adele's, or who we think is Adele's, lucid dreaming imagery on. His watch is shown next to Rob's body in the bottom of the well, also to make us think that David had a major role to play in Rob's death. I would be interested to hear what you guys think about this. After the initial shot of the watch and Rob's body, I wasn't convinced yet that Rob was dead, actually. For me, it was because it was hard to always tell what was real and what wasn't at some points. So I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about if Rob was, if you thought Rob, like in Rob's body, was dead, or if you were convinced that that was truth and Rob, or Rob's body, I guess, was dead. Something that I saw someone say in the comments of a YouTube video Netflix put out about the show was pointing out that all of the flashbacks to Adele and Rob's friendship, developing and flourishing, were really from Rob's point of view, not Adele's. Because now Rob inhabited Adele's body and Adele had been dead for 10 years. I didn't even realize that until it had been pointed out, and I was like, how did I not even think of that? But I'm glad I didn't start figuring things out until the end, because like I've said many times, it was that twist at the end that really made this show stand out to me. Rob is sneaky too. When he, as Adele, saw the opportunity to befriend Louise, he did. And it was an added bonus that Louise struggled with night terrors, just like Adele and Rob had, which led Adele to teach Rob how to lucid dream, therefore allowing him into the secret of astral projection, which he then teaches Louise to eventually be able to switch bodies with her and get to David yet again. There is a lot to unpack in this show, and I honestly might have to give it a rewatch to see if any other clues that I might not have picked up on, if I see them easier in a second watch through. Things such as the heroin use that Adele seems to be doing that we haven't seen her do before the present time. I just assumed she had started using because of Rob, and that might have been one of the contributing factors to her and David's problems in their marriage. I never assumed that Rob was literally in Adele's body. It was one of those details that I didn't explore as much as I could have or should have, I guess, that made the ending more shocking. All in all, I really enjoyed watching this show, and I will have to give it a few months before I do it, but I definitely plan on reading the book. And I would love to know what you guys think of this show or this book in the comments. And I'd love to do more videos like this and hopefully continue making them better and better, and doing commentary and more analysis and making them more detailed. Love to know what you guys think about that as well. Leave a comment on what you thought of this show, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, if you liked the show or if you didn't like the show. And if you've read the book, let me know some key differences maybe you saw in the book that weren't in the show. I'd love to know those as well, because I will read the book eventually. I didn't realize it was a book until I was a couple of episodes in, so that's why I didn't read the book first. I do love reading books that are thrillers first before I watch the show or the movie, but it didn't even cross my mind and I didn't even realize it until I was already a couple of episodes in. So, but I'd love to hear what you guys think about all of the things I've talked about today, and thank you for watching this video. I hope that you stay tuned for more.